Hi, everybody. This is Holland Martin, and thanks for joining me today on the Never Die podcast. And today I have 2011 Eastbrook graduate Ronnie Morrell. Ron, thanks for joining us today.
Man, thanks for having me on. I'm super glad to be a part of the show and love what you're doing.
Yes. Now, I know thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us. We recently caught uh, news on Channel 27 that you were running for mayor of Marion.
Yes, that is true. I'm excited for the journey and looking forward to bringing all I can to serve the city of Marion, Indiana.
hmm just maybe dig in a little bit. What was the genesis of the whole idea of running for office?
So my whole goal in life is to serve people, and I've been
hmm
doing it since I was young through ministry. Then now coming up through the Boys and Girls Club, and serving people is what I want to do and what I'm called to do. And serving people is the role of the mayor. So I call myself a servant leader, and being able
Yes.
to step into that role is something I believe that is truly a blessing to have, and I look
hmm
forward to serving people any way that I can.
Yeah, it's awesome. So tell me about the Boys and Girls Club. Recently became the head director of that to maybe talk about some of the pluses and minuses and challenges. And I hear there's a new basketball league coming up.
Yeah, and that's true. So one of the great things about our Boys and Girls Club here is it's a staple, a cornerstone in the city, if you will. It's always been very important, and we had some down years, but now as things are starting to turn around, I believe that we are getting back to what the Boys and Girls Club has always been.
Yes.
With a twist, though. So one of the things that we're doing that's been different is we have a super heavy focus on education and developing
hmm
the kids to be productive citizens in
Yes.
society. One thing that we've added is a collaboration with a lot of different industries. So one thing is I try to find as many different professionals around the city and
hmm
bring them in once a week to be able to teach our kids and expose them to things that they've never seen before. So most
Yes.
recently we had people come in from Marion Health to teach them about what it's like to be a doctor and what it's like to
Yes.
be a psychiatrist. So my whole goal with that is to expose the kids to as many things as possible in the
hmm
workforce, because a lot of them don't even know some of this stuff is possible. So we really have to expose them and let them see, what is possible,
hmm
so they can actually become something.
Yeah. In order to see it, and in order to achieve it, sometimes you have to see it. You know what I mean? To set that goal that I can be a
100%.
doctor, I can be a lawyer. I don't have to just be a rapper, an actor, or bounce a basketball. I love that. And
Right.
I've always been
Yeah. So
sorry. Go
a lot of
ahead.
things seem impossible until we humanize it,
hmm
and humanizing is when they can see like this is something we can do, and we range to a wide variety of things from doctors to lawyers to uh, tradesmen. All we want to bring
hmm
everything like that into the Boys and Girls Club to entrepreneurship. So I want to give the kids as many pathways as possible.
hmm I'm big into the STEM program. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Science, tech, engineering, and mathematics, mechanics. I just think they're so big. There's going to be a lot of construction, things of that nature in the future. And I just think those things in engineering and tech, computers, the end might be medical as well. There could be so many different things you can fit in there, but it's called the STEM program. And I think those things are so. For instance, when I was young, we had Tucker, and I'm from New Jersey. We had a vocational school where you can have HVAC, you could learn auto body, you could learn, I forgot what they call it when you cook, culinary, things of that nature. But I think we don't have that anymore. If a kid doesn't have a college aptitude, he could still go into HVAC. He can still go into auto body. And now that we're knowing what we know, a lot of the youth aren't taking over those occupations anymore. So it's tougher to find a good auto body mechanic, really, and things of that nature. So I'm definitely a big proponent into uh, teaching the kids, letting them see things like that.
Yes, exactly. That's our whole goal. Is we believe great futures start at the Boys and Girls Club here in Grant County. And in order for those great futures to manifest, we really have to dig into our kids and give them all the tools that they need to establish those great futures. Our Boys and Girls Club of Grant County is a branch of Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Indiana. So we are under the umbrella of Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Indiana, and we just serve in the Grant County area.
Awesome. Just bringing those partnerships in. And can you talk about the importance of how the United Way has been to the Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah, so I tell everybody, without the United Way, there would be no Boys and Girls Club here in Grant County. They believed in us when we didn't have a lot going on. They continue to invest in us with time, talents, and treasures, and we truly appreciate what they've done and what they continue to do.
That is beautiful. So, announcing for public office is going to bring a lot of eyes your way, some positive, some negative. Talk to the people about who is Ronnie Morrell Jr. Maybe we backtrack a little bit to maybe the neighborhood you grew up in, some of your interests, some of the schooling, things of that nature. Who is Ronnie Morrell Jr.?
So I tell everybody, Ronald Morrell Jr. is a visionary.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my one liner that I like to say. I'm truly a visionary.
Visionary.
And everything that I've done in my life up to this point shows that. So as far as my historical background of where I came from, again, I'm born and raised in Marion, Indiana.
Yes.
Graduated from Indiana Wesleyan. I have a wife and 2 kids. So I'm super excited about them. My daughter is due in April, so about 6 or 7 weeks away. And I'm very excited about that. So I'm a family man, and I'm dedicated to serving.
Yes, that's what it's all about. Talk about too, growing up in the church, some instruments that many instruments that you were able to play, some of your hobbies and things like that.
Yeah, man. So I grew up in church. My grandparents are pastors. They started a church in 2004, and prior to that, I was going to church in Christ Temple here on 14th Street, and I've been with my grandparents since 2004. And I spent a lot of time, playing music from piano to drums. So drums is my main instrument actually, and I'm super excited about teaching my daughters about music, because it's really a self-expression that a lot of I consider being a musician a trade as well. So I think that we definitely need to be able to encourage people to do that in addition to all the other trades we spoke of earlier. But yeah, so I play drums. I don't have as much time to play anymore, but when I do, I really, really enjoy doing so.
Okay. All right. What schools did you attend? What elementary schools?
Man, I went to Southeast, so it's closed now. I believe it's an ABA therapy center now. I went to Southeastern Elementary School. I went to Justice for all of my middle school from 6th through 8th grade. I went to Marion High School up until my 11th grade year. And then I transferred to Lakeview, and I went there for 1 semester. Then the school closed, and I finished out my high school career at Eastbrook.
All right. Did you talk about the adjustment of Eastbrook from Marion to Eastbrook, or was there one?
Yeah. So it was all 3 different adjustments, So Marion was one thing, Lakeview was another thing, Eastbrook was another thing. And I would say that has actually prepared me for this journey I'm on right now to become mayor, to be able to, be myself around all different kinds of people, but also respect their culture as well and learn and grow together at the same time.
It's about respect, and that's what I love. That's what I love about you. Have that galvanizing effect. You know what I mean? And that's gonna really serve you well in the future. But you also played athletics at Eastbrook. Can you talk about that?
I did, man. So I played basketball throughout my whole life, really. And then when I ended up transferring to Eastbrook, I got a chance to play there for the 2010-2011 season, and we did okay. I think we finished like 10-12 or something like that, and we made it to the national championship. But one of the, I guess, probably one of my favorite moments was we had a chance to actually beat Marion in a game. So that was really fun. Yeah, it was a cool night.
Now talk about that game. If I remember, did you get 9 points or something in that game or so?
Yeah, something like that. The game was not even super high scoring. I think the game finished at like 41-40. So
41-40, yeah.
Yeah, and it was actually won on like the last second, no time on the clock, free throws. So it was it was one of those nights. It was fun. It was a memory.
Sound like some home cooking, man. Hey
man, it could have been, man. It's definitely a memory that I cherish, and it was just a fun time. Getting to play against all of my good friends and actually come out on top with being victorious was a fun time.
if I can remember, guy got fouled by Marion in half court on a three, and he missed the first one, made the second one. I don't think who was that? Joe Luce at the time didn't coach.
No. At the time,
oh, that was Todd Grace.
Yes.
That was Todd Grace at Marion. He was suspended, and Bennett Somerset was the one that coached Marion to that loss.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that part of it, but that's true.
Yeah, and it's in there. I mean, that's kind of why I do this too, because I'm a Marion Giant historian. So, Todd Grace was there, and he had Old Man Shepherd in there, but that Grace era, he had DUI. He didn't coach that game. Somerset took over. Half-court foul.
Yeah.
I hit it. No time on the buzzer. So how was that feeling?
All those guys are my friends. Some of my best friends are on that team. Actually, still best friends to this day.
Yeah. And
I don't know if we would talk about it anymore, but for a good 5 to 6 years, it was really a thing that we like. Oh man, remember that time we beat you guys? But as we got older, it just kind of faded away. We really don't talk about it as much. But it definitely was a big deal when it happened.
Yeah. It's had to be special. So did I remember too that you had the rebound record or something down there too, didn't you? Over there?
I did have it for a second, but that same year we played on my team was Josh Turner, and I'm sure he probably ended up getting it somewhere down that line. But I had it for a little while.
Big fella from Noblesville, if I remember.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so let's talk about you intimated before you graduated from Indiana Wesleyan. Was that where you went right after high school?
So after I graduated high school, I went down to a school in Southern Illinois called Greenville University now. And I played basketball. It's a Division III. I played basketball there for 1 year, and I just decided that I didn't want to play anymore, and decided to come back here to Wesleyan University, which is where I got my bachelor's degree in music.
After graduating from Indiana Wesleyan, there's some scooters and things that's been around town. Let's talk about the genesis of that and how you can provide services to the people at Indiana Wesleyan, Ivy Tech, just around town. Talk about that, your scooters.
So my wife and I were in Nashville, Tennessee in 2018 on our 1-year anniversary. And we were walking from like the Vanderbilt area trying to get to like the Broadway where everything is at, right? That's where stuff is happening in Nashville. It was July, so that Nashville heat is a different experience. I don't know if you've ever been down south at that time.
Yes.
But I was soaking wet within 5 minutes of walking, So I was ready to cancel the whole night. It's over. But then I started looking around and I started seeing people ride past on the scooters. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. At first, we never, at this time, nobody had really seen this, phenomenon before.
Yeah.
So then I stopped somebody, how are you doing this? And they explained the whole thing, how the technology works, this is what you do. And I'm like, okay. Then we just look around, there's thousands of people riding scooters all around downtown Nashville. So long story short, my wife and I got on the scooter and we ended up just riding all night. We canceled any other plans we had and just rode scooters all night and experienced downtown Nashville. So now in my heart, Marion is always in my heart. So I'm like, man, how can I bring this cool experience, back to Marion, Indiana, so we can experience this. So one of my things is, Marion, as other cities like ours, often get overlooked for new cool inventions, especially in the tech area. We get overlooked for things like that. So I was like, how can I be a trailblazer and bring something like this back? And so we started in Marion. I started in Marion with 6 scooters, and now we are in Marion, Gas City, Wabash, Anderson, and Huntington, and serving all the communities that are similar to ours. So my heart is really to serve and bring technological advancements in the micromobility space to cities of 40,000 and under who would normally be overlooked.
So we've seen some billboards of you on the bypass with some barcodes on the side. Could you talk about those as well?
Yeah, so those QR codes. So one of the reasons why I decided to go with that method of advertising or promotion or whatever you would call it is because on each scooter is a QR code that identifies that scooter, and that's how you turn it on and activate it. So
Yes.
all of my customers who are familiar with like riding rail scooters, they already understand what a QR code is. I mean, the QR codes have been around for years now. You know what I
Just
mean?
hold the phone up, boom.
Yeah. So it's been around for years, but it was kind of a newer thing when I brought it here to Marion on the scooters because everybody wasn't
Hmm.
aware of the technology. So I decided, I'm gonna put that same idea on the billboard, and the
Yeah.
ones who know will know, and the ones who don't will be curious, right? So I think it was touching every market at the same time. But the people who know what to do, they put their phone up and scan it, and the ones who don't know what to do, they're asking like, what is this? Either they think this is stupid or they think it's great because they don't know what's going on.
Yes.
So I think it piqued everybody's curiosity at the same time. So I
Hmm.
think I was able to be successful in that billboard because if you've seen it, there's no words, there's no anything like that on there. It's just my
Hmm.
face, barcode. So it was actually I ended up being a successful marketing thing that I wasn't sure how it was going to work. And so when you scan that code, there's a list of things, but at the top, it's like when I say, don't tell nobody, I'm running for mayor, Indiana, 2023.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so there's a lot of information you can get from that, but I think obviously the most popular link that people continue to click is the special announcement at the top.
Yes. And that's beautiful, man. I love it. As like you said, it's perfect marketing, saying a lot without saying anything at all. Like that action. You
Yeah.
hit that thing and scroll down, there's everything. That's beautiful, beautiful marketing. Um, so what is uh, the plan for your campaign? Is that in the formative stages yet? Have you getting some
Yeah,
ideas kind of out there?
100%. So I'm gonna be running on the Republican Party,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the main reasons why is when that billboard went up, the head of the Republican Party contacted me and presented
Mm-hmm.
me with an organization. As me, I'm a very organized person, and I'm attracted to other people and other entities who are very organized. So
Yes.
that's how I ended up making that final decision on which way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as some of the things I want to focus on is there was a campaign I believe in the '90s in Marion called Clean City Marion, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to focus on the beautification of the city,
Yes.
and both physically and virtually.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to invest in our city as far as cleaning up. So
Yeah.
everywhere we look, there's some kind of trash, and there's other bigger projects, and buildings need to be torn down and stuff like that, and potholes and all that kind of stuff. So there's different levels of the cleanliness, but one of
Yes.
the first things that takes minimal effort and minimal dollars is if you see trash, just pick it up.
Pick it up.
If you see if somebody's grass needs cut who lives next to you, help them out. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of steps that we can take that are not super expensive at all. It's
Community oriented.
just community oriented, and do we have enough pride to care about Marion to
Yes.
see us as a clean city? So now
Yes.
there's other bigger projects, like there's a lot of blight as far as like old houses and old buildings
Mm-hmm.
that need to get torn down, which there are a lot of processes that we have to go through to get that done, and also dollars that come behind that and all the potholes. So all those things need to be addressed, but there's some small things that we can do
Mm-hmm.
to conquer,
To help
what I
out.
mean? This, these big problems.
One
So
thing I
yeah,
do
then virtual.
One thing I do think that needs to be addressed is the lack of water pressure here in Marion. I think the hot and cold water that comes out the faucets, it seems like the pressure has come down a little bit. I'm not sure if it's because of the growth of restaurants and stores of that nature, but it seems to me in the south side of Marion, the water pressure has gone down a little bit.
The one thing that I know that I plan on doing is showing up and being visible. So when there's issues, I plan on showing my face and being there. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the people in our city need to see someone who's visible, someone who cares, and someone who is out, in the community. And I'll do the best I can to be at all those things and try to meet the needs of the people and serve the people, which is my whole goal. I believe in this city or anywhere, we need to do what's best for the city.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm best for the city. So whether that's Republican, Democrat, Independent, or Republican, we create something completely new. I
Yeah.
believe I'm what's best for the city, and we need to vote as what's best for the city. And I think Marion has a lot of history of like getting personal vendettas or party vendettas, and then letting that rule and at the expense of the advancement of the city.
Yeah.
So it's time for us to move past any personal vendetta, any party vendetta, anything we have against anybody, and put the city first, put our citizens first, so this city can be improved. Because we've been sinking now for a while. So how long are we willing to continue to sink before we know we reach out and say, you know what, we're going to reach across the aisle, we're going to reach across something else, and do whatever it takes to make our city start to float again. Not only float, but start to propel and do better than ever. Because we don't want to survive. We've been in survival mode now for 20 some odd years. When I come into leadership, we're going to thrive. We're going to thrive, and that's the way I want to go.
That is beautiful. And what are your thoughts, as you say, when you become mayor? Manufacturing. You know, we have a lot of warehousing and logistics type things, but we don't create anything anymore as far as RCAs and the actives and the things of that nature. What are your thoughts on bringing more jobs in here? And, you know, as we talked about tech, the type of jobs that would thrive in Grant County, you know, what are your thoughts?
Workforce development is one of my top focuses. I mean, because it affects everything that's going on around our city. So there's under the workforce development umbrella, one thing that I believe that will take us to the next level is the investment in technology. So I think I believe 7 or 8 when the big factories in our city closed, and we haven't moved on to that next industry yet.
Yeah.
So we need to invest in that. So one example is there's things called tech boot camps, and people can go there and study for, you know, I think it's a 2 or 3 month program, and the price ranges from, you know, $8,000 to $12,000, and you can go in there and get a certificate to study. You can get a certificate when you complete the program, and you can be a software engineer, computer engineer, etc., and you can stay at home and work in these different tech places. So it's not, a lot of times when I present, people say, oh, bring tech to Marion. It sounds like this big pipe dream that I'm expecting, like Amazon to open up a hub right in downtown Marion. That's not necessarily what I'm looking for. What I'm saying is there's small businesses that need the same technology, need and use the same technology as these major companies, and we can. There's a hole that we're missing there. That everybody in the whole city is not going to be a tech person, but we can get a small percentage and make advancements until maybe here we are 15 years down the line, and we can be a thriving tech area. So it's not something that's going to happen in my first term as mayor, or even if I run for a second one. This is a long-term plan that I think we need to change our mindset that, you know, RCA, Dana, they're not coming back. So we have to do something to start advancing ourselves in the next area. Do I have all the answers? No. I tell everybody that all the time. I don't have all the answers. I don't know exactly everything about what we're going to do, what needs to happen, but I do know I have a vision of what needs to happen, and we're going to do everything we can, getting in the weeds to make that come true. And so tech is just one element of the workforce that I believe, the workforce development plan that I believe we need to do. The other thing is, you know, the trades industry. Even right now with the kids, I'm trying to partner with, or developing a partnership, should I say, with the IBEW chapter for our area, and like showing the kids that, you know, you can make money in the trades, and that's the same thing that, you know, the adults need. We need to see that, okay, this is what's available. This is the transition to how I get into the trades, and this is what, you know, how much money I can make. You know, so we need to make a clear cut way to that, and let people know that that's available. Because I mean, like, obviously there's a pendulum that swings between like super high education, higher ed, college, and we need to get in the middle where we can serve both. If you're supposed to go to college, you have the aptitude to do that. That's your direction. But, you know, everybody, that's not for everybody. In the trades, this is a great industry. It makes the country run, and also it makes a lot of money. And so that's one of the things that under my workforce development umbrella, tech is one of them, but also getting back into the trades, getting our people into the trades.
Yes.
Is another element.
Also, for me, things like HVAC, auto body, you know, culinary, get people back into, you know, living their dreams, whether it be small business, things like that. But definitely that tech boot camp, man, sounds like it's got the potential to be really good at, you know, teaching people new skills, open them up to new things.
So those things, you know, technology, the trades, and the third, you know, I'm big into entrepreneurship. I truly believe into that. If you just drive around our downtown Marion right now and see all the stuff that has progressed, it's all because of the entrepreneurs that's willing to take a risk to invest in the things that was at one time was just dark, nothing going on. But people like myself investing in downtown Marion, and, you know,
I love it.
Push forward. So entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs really push and propel small towns to be successful. So under the workforce development, area is, we want to do everything we can to move to the tech industry. We want to do everything we can to get people into the trades. And
Mm-hmm.
then last, everything we can, the people who have the heart and the spirit for entrepreneurship, we want to give them all the support, that we can to help their business thrive in Marion, Indiana.
Man, that is beautiful. Let's go back into sports a little bit. Now, your lineage on both sides of the family in Marion Giant sports is deep. We could go Uncle Lorenzo, we could go Robbie with the Dream Team. Your mom, I went to school with your mom and dad, cheerleader. He was a basketball player. Has there ever been any inclination into going into the ministry?
Oh yeah, so I come from ministry. So
Yes.
from 5 years old until up to now, I've always been in ministry. And then again, that is all about serving people. So like I've been doing since I was a kid until now is doing whatever I can to serve people and be like I like to call a servant leader.
Mm-hmm.
Me just like everyone else is not perfect, but I strive to do all I can, live, according to the Word of God. And
Yeah.
obviously we all fall short, but I do what I can to be able to, serve the Lord personally as best as I can. And then, one thing the benefit, if you serve Him, you always reap His benefits. And I truly believe that, my grandpa taught me a lesson early on when I was about 16 or 17. He said, protect your name.
Yes.
So one element in that is, when you're serving the Lord, it's easy to protect your name. So I'm thankful to this point I haven't had damaged my name in any kind of bad or like scandalous way. And that's a lesson my grandfather taught me very early on, is to be able to protect your name, and because it's hard to repair once you damage it. So I believe there's many benefits in serving the Lord, but where I think the maturity in that comes is serving the Lord just with gladness because you want to, not for what He can do or what He said or any of the blessings He can give you. So as I became older now, so I'm 28, I turn 29 next month,
Mm-hmm.
and as I matured, I'm learning, to serve the Lord just because I love Him. And in that, I learned that just same way He loves me is the same way He calls me to love people, which is always a challenge, because people all the time aren't the easiest to love.
Mm-hmm.
But the same way that God shows us love is the same way He expects us to show love to people. So me as a leader, when people might say evil things, do evil things, say bad things,
Mm-hmm.
I know that the God that I serve, first of all, is going to protect me. Second of all, He calls me to love my enemy just like He called me to love somebody who's my best friend. So it's definitely a challenge, but I believe it's something that we all should strive for, to love our enemies the same way that we love our friends.
I love it, man. And as I said, there's no way that you're not going to be a success. From what I see, the way you live, that you're going to get success if you live that way. And the people that are not successful are the ones that don't work as hard or do the things that it takes. So kudos to you, brother. Let's talk about vaccines, COVID, quarantines. How have they affected you and what you do the last 2 years? And if so, how, as far as no jobs, meeting with these people, being all over the place, has it affected you?
Yeah, I think that, anybody would be lying if they said the last 2 years haven't affected them. So I think it's affected everyone across the whole city, across the whole nation, across the whole world. So it had affected everyone and continues to affect some of us. But I want to do all that we can to get past the virus.
Yes.
Everything, whatever is needed to get past the virus and get us to functioning as whatever normal is, I think is the steps that we need to take, because people are ready. But also, from a mental health standpoint, a lot of the kids that I'm dealing with now, if you really think about this, they haven't had a normal school year for, I think, 3 years. So kids who are in third grade, they don't know what it's like to go to school in a normal situation.
Normal level, yeah.
So that starts taking in the ones who are in sixth grade, they haven't had a normal school year since they were in third grade. that starts taking a mental toll on you. It's the same
big
way
time.
with whether you're a kid or an adult.
And in a long run thing, it's like we're dropping the ball again for these kids. Because now, like you said, I'm around the kids. I was noticing that in the fall. I was like, okay, if there was a kid that was in 8th grade when it started, and then he's been through a year and a half of online, which we all know that, they passed all those kids. Half of them then he had Wi-Fi, if you think about it. But now they passed them in the 9th. Now they're in the 10th grade with an 8th grade mindset, and they haven't really been in the classroom like we talked about in a year or so. And it's they're growing, but they still have that year and a half ago mindset in the classroom, and it's showing.
I mean, there hasn't been a global pandemic like this, so I mean, leaders didn't know what to do. So it's tough. I try to show as much grace as possible to everyone who has been in leadership and control, because what most people don't understand about leaders is they're human just like everyone else. So it's definitely a challenge, and it has been continually to be a challenge, to know what decisions to make and how to make them and when to make them and all that kind of stuff. So it definitely is a situation where I show grace, and I would encourage everybody else to do the same.
Yeah, it is tough. Let's talk about, are you into crypto, Bitcoin, stocks, and things of that nature? We talked about trades a little bit earlier.
Yeah, man. So I'm not like super heavy into it. I mean, I got like the app like Robinhood, and I'll put a little bit of change into it every once in a while to see what happens.
Yes.
But I'm one of those people that want to be I want to be super educated on something before I really, put my life into it. And I definitely believe that Bitcoin and Ethereum and all those things have a solidified that they're going to be around for a very, very long time.
Yeah, and, I think once the Lakers did that $800 million deal for the Staples Center, I think that solidified crypto to the masses now. So it's like it's here to stay. It's legit.
It's definitely going to be around for a long time. And I mean, that's another thing. As our citizens, this is something that we need to spend time educating our citizens on. So whether the city puts on a master class or a mastermind, whatever it is, all these things that I believe will benefit. Again, I tell everybody, our greatest asset is people.
Yes.
And the city is made up. Without people, we have no city. So we have to invest into our people, whether that's seminars, master classes, actual dollars, time, time, talents, and treasures, all those things invested into people, and then we will begin to see the city flourish.
I believe that can happen. I mean, there's places, Ivy Tech has some conference rooms. I'm sure IWU has some conference rooms to bring that information, you know what I mean, to people that get that financial freedom and things like that is vital, because that's a lot of people have the work from home industry has, went bonkers in the last year and a half. And I think it's going to continue to be more work from home. So for people to get into those stocks and bonds and things that you can do from home, it would be better.
Yeah, I mean, the world is constantly evolving and progressing, and we can't get left behind. We have to stay true to who we are, but also be willing to move forward and accept new and challenging things.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's tough to talk about, Republican and Democrat that we talked about. So what are your thoughts on the leadership in the White House?
Again, I try to show grace to every leader. I feel like every leader does the best they can with the best they have. Some are more equipped than others, and some make better decisions than others. But everybody does the best that they can. I try to believe in the goodness of people, that everybody wants to do good. I mean, that might be kind of naive, and it might not be true for everyone, but I believe in that people want to do good. All the methods to that, all pathways to that good might not be the best, and leadership choices might not be the best either. Hindsight is always 20/20, so we can always say, if I was president, I would have did this. If I was mayor, I would have did this. But as a leader myself, I try to show other current leaders and past leaders as much grace as possible, because I understand, maybe not on that scale, but I understand what it's like to make those decisions and have to be in those situations.
Yes. Well, is there anything that you would like to add to the people? Maybe to getting your message out as the campaigning starts and as the products that you have out here continue to grow, scooters and such. Just anything you wanted to get out there to the people?
Yeah, so I just want to say my name is Ronald Morrell Jr., and I would love to serve you as mayor of Marion, Indiana. Strength for today and hope for tomorrow. Thank you.
Hey, that's beautiful, man. Let's actually, we could go on and ramble about other stuff, but let's close it on that. And, on a nice positive note, maybe we'll have you on as you go into the campaign trail. I know Channel 27 will be there right with you the whole way. I wanted to thank local visionary Ronald Morrell Jr. and future mayoral candidate for joining us today on the Never Die podcast. We want to thank you, like we said, and we hope that we can see you again on the campaign trail.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you for having me on the show, and I look forward to coming back and excited for what you do and thankful for all you do for our community.
Hey, thank you, Ronnie. God bless you.